Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know it's Saturday early morning, and most of us have had coffee, so we're ready to go. So I appreciate you taking the time to come and learn about some of the opportunities here at Austin Community College and in the Austin area in general. So my name is Laura, Dr. Laura Marmolejo. I'm the Dean for Advanced Manufacturing here at ACC, and we are wanting to share the great opportunities that we have here in the Central Texas area with many of our industry partners that are represented today. And one of the big things for us is to want to really clarify the misconceptions of manufacturing. A lot of people don't know what manufacturing is, or they think it's something that's different than what it is today in this generation, where things have advanced quite a bit in technology. So we want you to hear directly from industry partners to learn about what they do, learn about the cool things that they deal with in their workspace. And I'm going to ask questions, but all of you, please are welcome to chime in on all topics. And hopefully we can at least clarify some of those unknowns or some of those misconceptions that seem to linger over the years. So again, I will start by letting them introduce themselves. Please start by telling us your name, where you work, maybe how long you've worked there if you want to tell, and just a little bit about your journey that got you to that point in your career. So I'll start with Clara.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Clara Neri. I work for a company called Applied Materials, and we make equipment for the semiconductor companies, primarily like a Samsung and XP, people that make computer chips. I have been at Applied Materials for a really long time, I've been there for 25 years. And I have had various roles within the company, from quality to operations to procurement. And more recently, I am part of the training organization. And one of the things that the manufacturing industry has really helped me with has been to be able to change roles, to change jobs, so that I'm not bored, right? I'm not doing the same thing day in and day out. And so being able to have been at the company that is so big has allowed me to really move in within the company. So really excited to be there and continue to be there 25 years later in manufacturing. And so happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heriberto. You guys can call me Eddie. It's a little bit easier to pronounce. I work for Prime Controls. They're a system integrator company that basically goes around to various contractors and builds the control systems that run the facilities. Currently, I work for data centers. I'm sure you guys are big about AI, and I'm involved in AI, and I basically support the control systems that pressurize the building, make sure that the rooms are cold enough for all the computers that are running. So yeah, I recently graduated December 2024 here at Austin Community College with my bachelor's degree, and I've been going about almost a year at this company and just been traveling a lot, which is the great thing about this job.
Morning, I'm Jackie Bird. I currently work at NXP Semiconductors. So we work closely with Applied Materials. Right now, I am the operations section manager for the films group. In manufacturing for semiconductors, we have 4 12-hour shifts. So I am responsible for all 4 shifts. I have 4 direct supervisors right now. I started out with NXP as an intern during my college days, and then worked as a process engineer, and just recently transitioned into the operations section manager's role. I really enjoy being able to, like some of the other people have said, change job roles throughout my time, and just working with all the amazing people that I have throughout my career. I've learned so much since being there.
Morning, everybody. My name's Kyle Naylor. I work for Athena Manufacturing. I've been there for about 16 years. I started my journey also here at ACC about 17 years ago, straight out of high school. I went through the welding degree program. I got my associate's degree in welding technology. Began work at Athena on a weekend shift, doing low-level jobs, detailing, hardware installation, assembly. Slowly worked my way up, and now I'm the operations manager over all of the fabrication departments. So first shift and second shift, I've got about 56 reports right now. And it's a funny little ecosystem we have here. Eddie has actually been recently helping me troubleshoot some electronics and programming issues. Applied Materials is our biggest customer. I'm sure we've done work with NXT before as well. So the people that I meet and the opportunities that I get are a big benefit of being in manufacturing. I'm on American Welding Society District 17 committee. We had a meeting yesterday across the street. I get to travel a lot. I've been to Japan for work. I get to see, all of the cool stuff that everybody's doing. So manufacturing has really allowed me to do that.
Hey, everyone. I have specific questions, but please, any of you chime in. I'm going to start with Kyle. Tell me what you like most about your job, and how does it make a difference in other people's lives?
I like the challenge in my job. We're always bringing on new products. Applied Materials blesses us with contracts and jobs, new stuff on a daily basis. And the challenge of figuring out how to produce that product, sometimes it's a preliminary design, sometimes it's a production product, but the challenge, and I think the same for everybody. I think everybody enjoys working at Athena because although you are performing the same job over and over again, the product is never the same. There's always something new to learn. We're investing in technology heavily. I was telling a few folks that stopped by my booth over there that we're investing in a lot of cobots and a lot of robots. So the job market is shifting a little bit from I need to learn how to be this blue-collar worker to I need to learn how to program the equipment that is going to be doing this blue-collar work that is difficult. It's hard for your lungs. It's hard for your body. I think those opportunities are what people like a lot at Athena and in manufacturing in general. It's shifting. It's changing. It's never the same. We've all experienced the shift and the change in our individual jobs, but also seeing manufacturing as a whole change has been fun.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll go, Eddie. You were going to be next anyway, so.
So, like I mentioned, in Prime Controls, we support controls industries and kind of help these manufacturing facilities kind of build up and ramp up quickly. As I mentioned, AI is the new and coming, and a lot of people are afraid of it. I'm afraid of it. I'm sure you're afraid of it. But we shouldn't really see it as a scary thing, right? It's a tool. It's something that is going to push us to advance us to further things. And like Kyle was saying, right, get people out of these boring jobs, who wants to sit in front of a tool and just constantly screw a screw on, right? When we should be focusing on more advanced things like programming and understanding how we can use these tools to advance, medical or manufacturing or whatever we want to set our eyes to. So I do feel like my work is impacting that line of work.
Good answer, Eddie. So tell me, how do you see young people working in this industry and finding purpose? As you said, it helps the medical industry, it helps other industries. Tell me how that's an important value nowadays, to have purpose in what you do. How does that bring purpose to you?
Yeah, so it gives me purpose, like Kyle mentioned, the challenge, right? We get these projects that come in and we sit down and we try to figure out, how are we going to advance this? How are we going to make it easier for us? How are we going to make it easier for the users? That way, things run as smoothly as possible. And so that's kind of where the joy of working for these type of jobs comes from, which is that challenge, right? How can I make something difficult not as difficult? And I think that challenge is what pushes students and younger folks into wanting to explore these regions and kind of put their hands in there and say, if someone was able to figure this out, what makes it say that I can't do it, right? And it gives them that drive and motivation of wanting to do more than what they're capable of.
Okay, Clara, I wanted to ask you, how does your company's work make a difference not only locally but nationally, globally? And why should young people feel proud to work at Applied Materials?
Well, everybody likes to work at Applied Materials, Laura. Everybody does. And so one of the things about Applied Materials, and possibly some of you guys have never heard of us, but we are one of the largest companies in the semiconductor industry from an equipment making perspective. So if you think about a kitchen, right, in various restaurants, whether it's Italian, whether it's Chinese or Mexican, or whatever it is, you're gonna have dishwashers, you're gonna have stoves, you're gonna have microwaves. It's all equipment that everybody needs to use. The difference is that when we sell it to our customer, it could be the Italian restaurant, it could be the Mexican restaurant, it doesn't matter. We make the equipment, and then they use their beautiful recipes to make the computer chips that you use on a day-to-day basis. So if you guys have an iPhone right now, if you have a robot, cleaning robots, anything that has any sort of automation that connects to the Wi-Fi has, at one point or another, touched an Applied Materials machine. And so knowing that we actually impact, regardless of industry, regardless of level, whether you have all automated things at home or not, our machines have touched that. And so we have a lot of pride in that. We have a lot of pride in our work, knowing that our machines make an impact in multiple industries throughout the world. We're also a worldwide employer. So we do have a couple of manufacturing sites. So we have our main one here in Austin. We have a sister facility in Singapore, but we also have facilities in Taiwan, in Massachusetts. We're actually based out of Santa Clara, California. And so we just have a very global footprint. So if you want to travel the world, come work for us, right? We will definitely hook you up with that. If you just want to stay in Austin and all you want to do is screw in something on a lid, we got a job for you too, right? So it's one of those things where, from an applied materials perspective, and manufacturing more specifically, we hire all kinds of roles. So it's not just engineering. It's not just logistics. We're talking about, we hire lawyers. We hire cooks for our facilities. We hire electromechanical technicians. We hire IT. You name it, we hire it, right? And so being able to be in that kind of industry, so if you want to grow, want to learn more about different things, it's one of those things that our company definitely gives you. In addition, I think most of the companies here, we really support growth for our employees, whether it's tuition reimbursement or just providing them with different certifications. Toastmasters, for example, comes over to Applied Materials, and we want you to help. We want you to speak. We give you money for you to go back to school. And we really promote some sort of cross-functional training that occurs organically within the company. And so Applied Materials has been able to do that, but I think manufacturing as a whole is an industry where you can find all these opportunities in the same company.
That's a very good point. Yes, excellent. So Jackie, can you share a couple of cool examples of NXP impacts products that most of us aren't even aware of?
Yeah, sure. One of the main end customers for NXP is auto. So if you have lane sensing technology in your car, if you have the cruise control, the cruise adapter, so you set it to how many car lengths that you have, that's our technology in there. The airbag chips, we make those. So anything in your car is most likely probably manufactured by NXP, but we're also into the Internet of Things, so making your home smarter. So, any of the Nest technology, Ecobees, NXP probably has chips in there. We also have a couple chips in Apple products as well, so that's also really cool. Except for when it breaks. And I know I've been a victim of a chip breaking, going to Apple and being like, man, I probably made that part too. So that's a bit of a bummer. But basically anything that has an electronic component, NXP probably has made it.
Thank you for that. So Kyle, I have a question for you. Many parents assume success requires a bachelor's degree. How do you explain the opportunities in manufacturing that don't require one?
I think I'm a prime example of the opportunities in manufacturing that don't require a bachelor's degree. I kind of briefed on it a few minutes ago, but I started with no degree at all. It was an introductory position that I took, but it gave me a foot in the door to prove that I'm a hard worker, I have good work ethic, and that I want to be here and I want to learn, and now I'm running the whole factory 16 years later. So you don't need to have a bachelor's degree for this industry. Clara's been with Applied Materials for 25 years, right? She wouldn't be at Applied Materials if she didn't enjoy working at Applied Materials for 25 years. I've been at Athena for 16 years. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it. So we're not in these industries out of necessity. We're in it because we enjoy doing it, and there's a big payback from it. I kind of wanted to, the question that you had here just a moment ago was products that you don't see. You don't see any of, I mean, you see all of our products, but you don't know what any of our products are. That's the crazy thing about manufacturing and advanced manufacturing. I had no idea when I walked through the doors of ACC what I would be getting into, simply because in high school you don't learn about that, you know. But we rely on institutions like Applied Materials, NXP, Athena, ACC to do what we're doing here and show you guys that there is a world that you don't ever see. None of you, unless you work in a clean room, will ever see a product that comes out of Athena manufacturing. If you work in a clean room, that's all you're going to see. So it's a really interesting thing how big the world of manufacturing is, but the general public, although we are a consumer of all of it, you don't really see the product of the majority of what we make. Applied Materials is one of the biggest employers in Travis County. Do you know how many employees Applied Materials has in Austin at our Austin facility?
At any point in time, we have about 6,000 employees. That includes contractor and regular full-time employees. So that includes logistics and manufacturing.
And that's just in Austin. They're
That's
a global,
just in Austin.
and they're a global
Yeah.
company. Santa Clara, there's probably way more. I don't know if there is or
Yeah,
not. But,
globally we have over 35,000 employees.
and those are majority of them high-level manufacturing jobs. Yes?
I have a question for people who might be coming out of high school or working on their early classes in college. Especially for Applied Materials, NXP, or Athena, do you think it would be good advice for someone at that point to work on becoming a part-time employee or starting to intern?
She asked, would it be good advice to begin as an intern or a part-time employee? I'm assuming working around school or something like that is what you're asking about, working around other life obligations that you have. I would say a foot in the door is a foot in the door to me. If you find a company that is willing to work with you as either an intern or part-time employee, definitely start there. You know, if your other option is, and nothing wrong with it, but if your other option is bartending or a waiter or a waitress or something like that, get your foot in the door in the industry that you want to be in or you want to explore more. So whether you can work 10 hours a week or 70 hours a week, you know, start somewhere. And there's lots of different programs for lots of different companies. Maybe Applied can work with high school students, but some others can't. We can work with high school students on some basis, but getting your foot in the door, I think, is a great idea. Sorry.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, because you're in high school now, you want to do something like work at a company during high school? Is that your question?
Working on my degree right now, but it's high school. So for both
Okay.
of us.
All right, great. So for Applied Materials, we don't hire anybody under 18 years old, only because we have OSHA requirements. We work with really high current, and so it's a safety thing that is really asking us to do the 18 and above. So for us, that's what we have, and we don't really have a lot of part-time roles, to be honest. We actually don't have any part-time roles that I know of. However, I think one of the things that you can also look at even when you're in high school is some of the programs that you may have at your high school that could be like the early college classes to kind of get you into that mentality, like just I can go to school and take an additional thing on top of your plate, kind of makes you a little bit better from a time management perspective and gives you something to talk about, like during an interview, like maybe you've heard about automation or maybe you've heard about some manufacturing process that you would like, oh, I'd like to know more about that. But there's also other companies, if you get interested into that, we do have apprenticeships as well. So some of the companies that we have, even if you look in semiconductor, I know for applied materials, we do have a registered apprenticeship program with the Texas Department of Labor, where we want kids to be coming right out of high school for this. We don't want you to be enrolled in a two-year college institution. We don't want you to be going for your bachelor's at that time. But what we do, it's an earn and learn model, which means that you work full time, and then we give you a dedicated path of classes here at Austin Community College that you can use later for an associate's degree or bachelor's degree, just like Eddie did here. But we do have those programs, and you can look at those just about everywhere. And I believe that, I don't know, Athena, I think you have also started an apprenticeship program as well recently. And so there's different companies that will offer that are a little bit more friendly to recent high school grads, and we provide a lot of training for those programs. And usually the classes are free to you as well. So it's phenomenal. Definitely look into that.
Clara, since we have you on the line here, can you tell us what qualities, skills, training, or credentials are most valuable to someone who may want to work at Applied Materials?
Yeah, so it depends really a lot on what you want to do, right? For us, again, we make machines. So a lot of people that like to work with Legos, if you like to break things apart and just see how it works, love you, come over. Like to work with tools, you know what a screwdriver is, or a torque tool, love you, come on over. So for the most part, in our business, you have to like to work with your hands if you want to work on a manufacturing floor. Primarily, like to create things, like to be standing on your feet, because most of you guys will be working while standing. It's not a sit-down kind of job. It's very active for the most part, but at the very basic, we want you to show up to work on time. We want you to be there all day. And we like people who have a learning mentality. So what that means is you want to learn more about the machine. You want to do more with the machines, right? You want to expand your job scope, just trying to get better, trying to get better, trying to get better. So we really look for that kind of employee. But in our industry, and I think we've mentioned a little bit here, our industry changes all the time. So every day doesn't look the same at all. And so if you thrive on things changing, like for me, I don't like things to stay the same. As I told you earlier, I've changed jobs because I get bored. I get bored really easily. Well, guess what? Manufacturing is the place for you to be because everything's going to change, right? Logistics, all kinds of crazies happen. Engineering, all kinds of crazy happens. Operations. So being able to adapt to change, being able to handle some pressure, but then also being able to have the instinct to want to figure things out on your own, right? So I can't tell you what to do on an every single day basis, but if you have the intrinsic motivation to be able to figure it out by yourself, you'll really thrive in our environment.
So Eddie, tell us about the skills you learned while you were at ACC and also through the workplace. Tell us how that has opened doors for you and what opportunities you've had that you maybe didn't realize were available when you were 18 and right out of high school.
Yeah, to your question earlier about, should you go to an internship or part-time early, that's the opportunity that ACC gave me when I started off. I didn't start right away in college. When I graduated high school, I was fortunate enough that, semiconductor facility, I'm sure you guys know, is called Samsung. We have Samsung here in Austin, started their own journey for high school graduates. And so I've always wanted to go into the STEM field and felt like that was my foot in the door, right? To kind of get in there and try to understand what advanced manufacturing was. And so once I got into ACC, that's where, the skills of all the professors, and that's the real nice thing about ACC is that you have these professors that not only know the subject, but have been in the workplace. So they understand completely what, advanced manufacturing is at this moment and what you should be learning. And so it helped me build those skills that I know now. And like Claudia was saying, it kind of gets boring sitting in one job. So I was fortunate enough to jump between jobs. I went from Samsung to Tesla to Applied Materials, did a little bit here of ACC, and then now I'm working for a controls company, and who knows where I'm going to be next, right? Those skills have not only gotten stronger and better, but I've also been learning more and more as I kept moving between these jobs.
Thank you. Jackie, can you tell me, what advice would you give parents who want to help their kids explore these high-paying, high-tech opportunities?
Yeah, I think finding events like this is really important to get, real life examples of what opportunities your kids will have. Being open to different job roles or different paths is also really important. For my job role in my company, we would not be successful if it wasn't for all the different job roles that we have, and that includes, electricians, welders, the pipe fitters, the facilities guys, the process engineers, the people on the floor. So there's tons of different opportunities, but it really is kind of just seeking that out, and sometimes, looking at ACC, being on the internet, listening to podcasts, just finding all those different opportunities just to learn about it, and just keeping an open mind about everything as well is really important.
You. The last question is really for each of you to answer, because we're getting towards the end. I want to give opportunities for questions. But tell me, from your company's perspective, what makes manufacturing a stable career choice right now and in the future?
Athena started 25 years ago in manufacturing. We started a little differently. We started as a machine shop, and then we went into 3D printing, tried to chase the 3D printing boom a little bit, and now we are in contract manufacturing, so we can pretty much do, anything. The stability in manufacturing, we talked about it. AI, we're not getting less technologically advanced as a civilization here. Automation, AI, robots, cobots, that is the future, whether we want it to be or not, however you feel about it or not. That's what's coming, and that's what's going to happen. Our government pushing all of this onshoring of manufacturing back onto the United States, whether we can do it or not, is going to play a huge role in the success in that. So manufacturing's not going anywhere. Hopefully we can rely on those jobs being here in the United States in the future, and we've got to step up as a society and make sure that we train our young people to be able to perform these job functions, and that we give them all the opportunities that we can as business leaders and as higher education organizations, so that we can keep up in the global economy. Global economy is what's driving it. If we're not as advanced and one step ahead of our competition, which is, every other country in the world, we'll always fall behind. So I think, the global economy is the assurance that manufacturing will be a strong section of the economy in the United States for forever, in my opinion.
For me, NXP here in Austin used to be Motorola, and that started well before I was born and alive. The site that I'm currently at just celebrated their 30-year anniversary, so again, just about as old as me, if not a little bit older. And I got into semiconductors because of my dad, so he's 30 plus years older than me. So that's how long the industry has been around. And the semiconductor industry is constantly developing, advancing, and you're always going to need electronic components to control the technology that we're having. So it's always going to be around. It's just kind of like Kyle was saying, we need to be able to keep up with it. In addition, the skills that you learn in manufacturing are going to be transferable to other industries and other sectors as well. So if you do choose to leave, I hope you don't, but you will have those skill sets to be successful outside as well. But I do think that semiconductors and manufacturing are going to be around for a very, very long time.
I 100% agree with Kyle. Advanced manufacturing has definitely grown exponentially here in the United States, and for those who have lived here in Austin, I was raised and born here, I can tell you the city was not the same it was 20 years ago. right? This city has grown drastically because of manufacturing, and we have the infrastructure here in Texas, fortunately, to be able to bring out these large industries. I'm sure you guys have seen Tesla's Gigafactory, Samsung's opening their massive factory in Taylor. I don't know about Applied Materials. Are you guys going to open something large soon?
Always like to hear that Samsung is open at plants and NXP is open at plants, because guess what? They need our equipment to get into that building. And so they'll keep us busy for a while.
And that's the nice thing about advanced manufacturing. You can't survive on your own. You require the help of others because you can't do everything on your own. And if one company was able to do everything on their own, more than likely they would fall through bankruptcy fast, because they don't have the infrastructure or the logistics to be able to keep up with all that demand. So we need each other, which is why we all agree that, advanced manufacturing is going to be here for a very long time. I don't think it's going to go away. You shouldn't need to worry about not having work.
For Applied, we've been in the Austin area, I would say a little over 30 years as well. So we've been here a really long time, and our company has been around for over 50 years. For our end, I don't believe that manufacturing will really go anywhere anytime soon, because we're consumers, right? We buy stuff. Whether it's we're buying cars, we're buying televisions, we must have the new iPhone, we must have the new Samsung. Whatever it is, we're consumers, and all of this has to be built. It has to be made, and from some sort of raw material to the final product. And so manufacturing that way, from the beginning, which is for us raw product being built into something, which is something that Athena does for us, and then we just assemble those things at our company. And so we don't see that need going away anytime soon. So that's why manufacturing will probably be here for a long time. From Applied, because we are at the forefront and we are building the machines that make the new designs and the new computer chips and the new everything, we feel that we're positioned well to be able to continue on for many years to come. And we've also I think one of the things that we've done, and I think you mentioned it earlier, Kyle, was a diversification of portfolio, right? So you're not doing just one thing, you're doing like 5 or 6, 10 different products, and that keeps you busy. And it's the same thing for Applied. Not only do we make the machines that make the computer chips throughout the entire process for the Samsungs, for NXPs, we also make the displays. And so you see the displays on your phones, you see the displays on your televisions. We make all of that as well. And so with artificial intelligence coming in and just automation coming in, someone's going to have to fix those robots. And that's where we need to amplify our skills here for manufacturing to be alive and well. We need to keep that pipeline of talent into manufacturing as much as we can, so that we can be competitive at the global level. The reason people leave the USA to go to a lower cost region is just because of that. They just want to get paid less and less. But for us, it's about quality as well. So if we can give them quality employees where we can be more efficient with less people, we're going to win every single time from a manufacturing and a global perspective. So we're competing every single day for our jobs throughout not just manufacturing, but other industries as well.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for those quick, great answers. I just wanted to give it the last 10 minutes for any questions y'all might have for the panelists. Yes, ma'am.
While she's passing the microphone, if you don't know what a semiconductor is, or you don't know what a wafer is, or you don't know how a computer chip functions, or really what it is, I would encourage you to look into the evolution of the semiconductor since it started. The advancements in that technology since the beginning of the semiconductor have been incredible, and it's only getting better and smaller and more micro and more nano. Look into it on your own time. It's really incredible.
My question is for Eddie. What was your path in high school, and what did you do to prepare for your degree? And which degree did you get?
So my path in high school was STEM, like I mentioned. I was fortunate enough that the high school that I went to was a early college high school. I was unfortunate that I did not pay attention in school and went to the actual early college part. But I have ADHD. I have trouble focusing, and the STEM field was the best place for me to kind of put my hands onto something and keep my brain busy. And that's where that challenge thing came in, right? It always forced me to focus and get it done, because that was the biggest problem I had as someone that has ADHD. You know, you have the confidence and the excitement of wanting to do something, and then as you're in the middle of it, all that energy just instantly drops and you forget what you were doing. So in that aspect, that's what kind of pushed me into that industry. I was fortunate enough to work with Samsung and all these other manufacturers and kind of work with the professor in ACC to learn the skills and the knowledge that I needed to. As of my degree, I started with an associate's degree, which was in automation, advanced manufacturing, and robotics. After that, ACC gave me a call telling me that they were starting a bachelor's degree. I applied. I was fortunate enough to be accepted into the first cohort, including Kyle, who was in that same cohort as I was. And we graduated with a manufacturing engineering degree, which added on to what I've already learned in my associate's degree, which has helped me with this new job. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and just to clarify, you had a part-time job in college at Samsung?
Yes. Throughout my whole college experience, I had a part-time job. I was very unfortunate. My parents were a low-income family. I was raised with Hispanics. And so my parents, you know, worked their butts off day and night, making sure that we had the best of everything. But obviously money was just not always there for us. So I would have to not only go to school, but also work, not only to pay for my own degree, but also to support my family that needed my help throughout that time. And as I kept growing and growing, my family got better opportunities. I was able to focus more in school. But I still kept that mentality of work and study at the same time to not get lazy is what I would say. Yeah.
Any other questions?
My question is, if you already have like some sort of degree and you already have experience in the industry, but you're feeling stuck, from anybody, what's you guys' best advice for that?
She already has a degree. What's the advice on taking the next step into manufacturing if you already have a degree? My question, what degree do you have?
Well, I'm 2 classes away from my associates, but I do have my 1-year certificate in advanced manufacturing, and I've also been an engineer tech at Pentagon Technologies for about a year now.
What I will say is that although there's a lot of opportunities at most of these companies, some of them are cyclical, right? And so there are times when we're hiring a lot of a certain type of employee. There's times where we're not. We're hiring a different kind of employee. And so having the qualities, having the skills is incredibly important. Having your resume is incredibly important. The other thing that I would say is, you know, sometimes don't get too centered on, I have to go work for this company at this job title, for whatever it is. If that's not the opportunity that's there, find ways around it, right? So maybe it's another role that is similar to that. So maybe it's not just all like assembly or anything like that. Maybe it's like a buyer role. Maybe it's a management role. Look at staffing companies too, you know, because they can get you in and maybe get you a different type of skill that might not be there while you're waiting for the right role to open up. And when I say that, it's just because sometimes you get so centered, like I have to be, like say for example, I want to be an engineering tech, period. look at others. Can I be a manufacturing tech? Can I go into maybe even logistics? What can we do to be a little bit different, to diversify? And so if that one path that door's not opening, continue to look at the ones that are side. Maybe it's not taking a step down. It's just looking at a side door that can still get you the opportunity. It just may look a little bit different. So just open up your eyes to maybe other opportunities that could be there, and that may help. And maybe even industries too. Change industries as well. That might help out a little bit too, but just keep yourself busy. Always keep learning, though, and I'm sure you'll make your way back.
In addition to that, yeah, like she was saying, take every opportunity you can. None of us are good at what we do because we started in exactly what we wanted to do, and that's all we did. We all started in far different roles than where we're at now and have worked our way up to this. If I didn't work in every department on our production floor, I wouldn't be able to do my job successfully. So I've done all of the grinding welds for 10 hours a day, breathing in, welding dust, and I've been a welder, I've been an assembly worker, I've been a hardware installer, I've learned to run a press brake, I've learned to powder coat. It all culminates into you being the best at what you want to eventually be doing, but it takes time. So get your foot in the door wherever it can be, but never stop. Set your goal, set your sight. It's going to take some steps to get there, but don't lose focus on where you want to go. You can get stuck, but you can also just use those as step ladder for your end goal. So get your foot in the door and you'll make it.
My biggest question for really all of you is, was manufacturing always where you originally wanted to go into a job? Or was it more like you just had the opportunity at a young age and just went with it?
For me, it wasn't. I think even now I still kind of suffer from, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So, high school, college, I really didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. The opportunity kind of just fell into my lap. Just my dad was in the industry. He was like, you should really look at internships. I was like, are they paid? He said yes. I was working at Subway at the time. So, I applied for a role, and I got the facilities internship position at NXP, and I really enjoyed it. And I was given the opportunity to come back to NXP in the next summer, and I was able to try out a different job role, which was in process engineering, and I really enjoyed that more. So it was something that I did enjoy, and that's why I've stuck with it. And again, as I think we've all said, we've been able to change job roles and change, experiences. And so it has helped with I don't know what I want to do. I don't know where I want to go, because there's so many different opportunities for it. So I am happy that I ended up there, but I didn't think I wanted to go into manufacturing. I didn't think I wanted to be in the same industry as my dad, but here we are.
As for me, on my senior year, whenever Samsung reached out, I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to get into some kind of engineering. I was looking at computer science. Thank God I didn't go there. But, they kind of opened a new door for me. As, Kyle has mentioned, no one knew what advanced manufacturing was. I didn't even know that this world existed until I had my foot in there. And to be honest, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. But my father kind of encouraged me, and he was like, you signed a contract, stick it out. Follow through the rest of that contract, and if you decide you don't want to do it anymore, then that's fine. Move on to something else. And those words stuck to me real hard. And ever since, that dip that I thought was going to keep going down ended up being the spike that I needed to get where I am right now. So.
I think that people here in the Austin area are very privileged to be in the Austin area and to have exposure to advanced manufacturing as well as other industries. that may not be common. So like from my end, I grew up in an area of Texas, in West Texas, where it was pretty much farming. It was all farming. And so I knew that I could never be a farmer. So manufacturing really wasn't out there for me. It wasn't even an option. My dad was a welder, so I got to really enjoy just his work. I like the trade piece of it, but I don't weld. But the thing is that, I knew that existed. I knew that I could go into, plumbing or electrician or things like that. But the thing is, even from my end, coming from a different perspective as a female, I didn't see myself as a welder or even as, a plumber or anything like that, just because, at that time, women didn't do that. Now it's a little bit more common, and now our options are a little bit better, and so now we could really expand into different things. But at the end, I ended up in manufacturing. I'm very happy that I did, and again, I've been here for 25 years. I could always go back. I did automotive manufacturing in Michigan, just other things that I could go back and do, but it's like, no, this is home. This is what I like to do. It keeps me engaged. But I think sometimes we kind of trip into it, kind of just stumble into this role because we're trying to find a job. Without realizing once we're there that this is a career and this is something where we can actually grow and do things. But yeah, you're privileged to be here because not only do you have us up here from a manufacturing perspective, from applied materials, we have a lot of suppliers, right? So, just like we have Athena, we have other suppliers as well that do manufacturing, that do welding, that do CNC machining, that do all those items, but you also have the Teslas of the world, right? And there's also other manufacturing people here. I think they do the bags for the medical industry. They do the IV bags. So there's all kinds of stuff that happens here, right? That you can look into that is part of manufacturing as well. And there's even food manufacturing facilities close to like the Houston area. I know that's where they make some of the biscuits and stuff for McDonald's and the tiramisu cakes that you guys get in the freezer. I mean, there's just so many things that you can really go into. But manufacturing really taps into multiple industries and just whatever it is that you would like to do. But again, we're in your backyard, so definitely take advantage of that.
I think we've created a pretty good supply chain of employees and potential employees here in Austin. Athena works with Elgin High School's P-Tech program. So we funnel in students that are interested in welding specifically. We allow them to intern with us in their senior year, and then we offer them a job at the end of their senior year. So not only do they graduate with an associate's degree in welding technology, they also graduate with a potential job offer at a real employer close by. Athena is currently a $50 million a year company. We would like to be at a $100 million a year company. So we're taking every step that we can to continue to expand. We're investing in capital equipment. We're investing in training programs. We're investing in new technology and employees and reaching out and doing stuff like this. This is where I like to hire from. I hire everybody that works in the fabrication side of our facility. So I maybe because I came through this and I was an ACC student and I got hired out of ACC, but I also feel like the instructors here are incredible and the people that come to ACC are coming here because they actually want to be in the workforce. So channels like this are how I prefer to hire, and not just welders, but different departments within our factory. I think I answered maybe 3 out of 5 of your questions there, and I've forgotten the other 2.
How many have you hired in the past year?
Overall, these guys are huge, but we're a small manufacturer. We currently employ about 180 employees total. So I would say we've probably hired in the last year upwards of 50 or 60 for our location. These folks are much different. They're $50 billion a year companies as opposed to our $50 million. For us, though, 50 or 60 for Athena.
Over the next 5 years, where do you see that growth number?
We start, sorry, I'm answering here for everybody. As the smallest employer here. I'm sorry.
And then just multiply by
Stop me. Yeah, there you go. Multiply whatever I'm saying by probably more than 10 for these guys. Repeat the question.
Over the next 5 years, if you hired 50 this past year, in 5 years, do you expect to be hiring 100 a year?
Yeah, so 10 years ago, Athena was one 50,000 square foot facility. Now we are 4 buildings covering over 100,000 square feet, and that's the trajectory that we would like to keep our advancement pace on. Again, we're at hiring event. I'm standing in today for who is normally the person that comes to the events as HR director. He was at 4 this last week. He was at 4 hiring events this last week. The way that these folks are throwing work our way, there's only one way this is going, and it's up.
Do you see a shortage in the labor market for this field?
For specific fields, yes. And unfortunately, programs like what they have here at ACC aren't abundant. There aren't a ton of these out there in Texas or in the United States. So yes, there's a shortage of welders, of qualified welders. That's why we've tapped into the high school market. Most high schools can get grants to develop a program that allow them to train welders to become employees afterwards. So we're, as opposed to the past where we would just hire general public, now we're going, all right, we got to take this into our own hands, give these younger folks the opportunities to be in this industry, and we actually have to go straight to the source instead of just hoping that people are going to train themselves to be what we need them to be. We're getting more involved in that higher education and high school education as well. So it is only going up from here. For all of us. Sorry, speaking for everybody again, my bad.
I'll speak briefly with regards to applied materials. And so we have, there is a shortage of talent, significant shortage of talent. So for our technicians in particular, there will be 10 jobs to every graduate that comes out of some of these programs. And so we are fighting for talent here in the Austin area just because of the amount of competition that we have. Again, not only is it ourselves, it's Samsung, NXP, and unfortunately our suppliers feel the brunt of it because we do tend to pull a lot of talent. But we've hired a couple hundred over the past year, and we anticipate to double in size by the year 2030. What that means is that's not only engineering, that's our technician base, our logistics, everything is going to double. And the number of graduates coming out of these programs right now are not sufficient. So these information sessions are critical to increase our pipeline of talent, really tapping now into the high schools to get a little bit more talent, to let them know that we exist, that advanced manufacturing exists. And so some people may not want to be welders or CNC machinists, but advanced manufacturing just encompasses so many other degrees that we can maybe find a home for them. But it's significant. And again, these programs, the more that we can get into more the electronics space for me, the knowledge of AC, DC circuits, schematics reading, but then also the people's skills to want to troubleshoot is something that is very critical as well. Trying to find that match is almost so difficult to catch. And so that's why we now have apprenticeship programs and internship programs so that we can home grow our talent into the manufacturing facilities.
Last piece of the question would be, if they're seeing demand for this labor sector being undersupplied, what are you seeing as a result of wages? And what's the projection?
Oh yeah, well, low supply, high pay. Right? It's like a surplus. So, I mean, we're going to pay more for that talent because of the fact that there's not that much of it.
Can you give an idea, again, for everybody, kind of what's a ballpark starting and what can they expect?
Well, it depends on the role that we have it applied. So we got manufacturing techs, and we also have engineering techs for the manufacturing floor. And they could start anywhere. The range would be anywhere between $18 to about $35 an hour, depending on the role, depending on the job responsibilities, and depending on your education as well. And that's just for technicians. That's not for engineers. Engineers can go into 70,000 plus per year.
I'm going to have to wrap up because we do have the student panel at 12 that I'd like to invite you all back to. But first, I want to thank you very much to all our panelists for participating and helping us get the word out. Thank you, guys.